straight. Of course, it's absolutely brilliant racing at the moment.
Hi and welcome to round 3 of the West Bank Super Series here in Aldo, Scribante, Port Elizabeth. This is the Bridgestone production cars.
Welcome to third round coverage of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. On form, it's been a good hunting ground for the Subarus and the Audis.
For all your information on the West Bank Super Series, visit our website www.westbanksuperseries.co.za and follow our links to Twitter and Facebook. Stay in the loop.
Staying with that thought, Steve, 100% right. Audi's at the front end is what we expected, and that's exactly what we got with Chopsapuka pushing hard, falling in just behind Henny Groenevalk on the grid, and Groenevalk in the Subaru looked good. So did the man from Cape Town with double victories under his belt. It was going to be a hard-charging Ferrari, but unfortunately, it was Michael Stephen who outdid him, and he put the hometown car on the front row.
Let's get confirmation. Front row, Michael Stephen and Johan Ferrari.
Second row is still 2 all-wheel drive cars with Groenevalk and Chopsapuka.
Next row is Lee Thompson and then Anthony Taylor.
2 rear-wheel drive BMWs split by Melville Priest with Van der Linde alongside him.
And then Richard Pinnard in the other Subaru and Niaz Modek. Considered to be the home track. Well, if you don't know it by now, Michael Stephen, you'll never know it. Well done. Great qualifying time.
Yeah, thanks very much. You know, we've done our homework here. We've done some testing. We were confident coming into the weekend. And, yeah, you know, all the effort that the team's put in has paid off for now. We've still got 3 races to go. And, yeah, hopefully we can turn the pole position into a race win.
Awesome performance. Are you surprised not to see the BMWs in the top 3, although you're second at the moment?
Yeah, I think all in all it's a good day. A little bit surprised about the BM because last year they were quite quick here. You saw the ding-dong battle we had all day long. But yeah, on the end of the day, it's still a 4-wheel drive circuit. The Subaru's up there, the Audi's up there, and yeah, I think it's going to be a tight racing. But I think on the reverse grid or something, the BM will still be able to be there. And like we saw in Cape Town, the BM likes the longer races.
Qualifying third fastest, Henny Groenevalk to Team Sassel Subaru. A good result, so you must be delighted to be just behind the leaders.
Yeah, we'd rather be in front. You know, the Audi's obviously got the edge around, yeah, looking at yesterday's testing and where we are in qualifying. But, you know, I think we got a solid car to actually mix it and try and fight for that win today. So, as it stands, I'd say I'm pretty happy with the Sassel Subaru at the moment. So, let's hope we can mix it there today.
It's certainly going to be a great mix of cars. On the front row, you've got Quattro versus all-wheel drive. Behind them, watch out for those rear-wheel drive BMWs pushing hard off the line. But you can see in the background, it looks like Ferrari and Chopsapuka have been given a little bit of a penalty there. And I think they're going to have to start at the back of the grid now. Here we go on board with Lee Thompson into Togo-san on the back end of the first of those Sassel Subarus, and Taylor's alongside him.
Yeah, certainly I've heard the mutterings going on and boost issues throughout the entire day. Oh, look at that at the back field. Bertic, Melville Priest and the Audi clouting. And how lucky was your Humphrey to go around the outside of that?
Very, very lucky indeed. I think that was Kish Patamba that got involved. That's Lee Thompson. He's still in between the 2 factory BMWs and driving in the Pertec car. That's the second of those Pertec cars. At the front end, though, Michael Stephen under massive pressure from Henny Groenevalk. But you've got to say, John Mayer getting involved there right at the start, along with that second of the Pertec cars. Of course, Kish Patamba behind the wheel of that one. And Melville Priest. Big and a hot runner at the front end, now being forced to come right from the back of the field.
Well, it's a day that Melville needs to get sorted because the Audi, it's in its development phase as opposed to the other Audis who have had a whole season to really get their car right. And not a lot of data available for Melville Priest. So they're doing the best they can at the moment.
Well, he's really pushing hard, and he had a great qualifying, but unfortunately just couldn't capitalize after that little incident down in Togo-san corner. There you can see the first of those India Oil Audis is not Johan Ferrari. It's actually Niaz Modek because of the incident down here at Togo-san. But look at Taylor. He's under pressure from an old BMW and an old rival. Lee Thompson is right there.
Yeah, you could actually understand that, but at the end of the day, who's in that car? Van der Linde? Well, no, it's not. It's Lee Thompson, but he certainly knows how to drive that boy.
He certainly does, and he can stay up here with these factory BMWs. The big factory team trying to outdo everybody and run with the Audi and the Subaru, but at this stage, it looks like the rear-wheel drive cars are taking a little bit of strain down here, although they are 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
All right, so out of West Bank and into the very, very hard hairpin, it is the Midas hairpin, and of course it is still Michael Stephen, Henny Grunewald, bringing a bit of pressure to bear. As we said earlier on, the Subarus and the Audis go very, very well here at Port Elizabeth, and is 2 days off his birthday. That is Henny Grunewald.
Yeah, Grunewald trying to give himself a little bit of a birthday present here at the halfway mark. Lee Thompson. Oh, was that a little bit of a move over there? I think there possibly was some team orders involved there. And the two BMWs sneaking through. Thompson letting Van der Linde get ahead. The two Afrox boys now up into 3 and 4 on the road. Watching the background as we see the Audi starting to make its way back to the fray here with the BMWs. And see if he's able to get up there and make any headway on the 3 rear-wheel drive cars.
All right, so out of the Bridgestone sweep, they're on their way up to Dunlop, and you've got to have a very good line going into there so you can get drive onto that straight away. Henny Grunewald will know this, but so will Michael Stephen. He'll try and keep that door very, very shut as they'll go into the Bridgestone sweep right now. Of course, that is one of my favourite parts of the circuit on their way up to Dunlop. Very, very important part of the circuit. Also, to take note here, this is the first time that the new BMW F30s have debuted at this race track.
And they're coming up into PE for the very first time, and not a bad effort there, but more importantly, look in the background. Johan Fourie is starting to make headway and is starting to close onto the back end of Thompson. There's only a couple of laps to go for these guys. Has he got enough to maybe sneak and into the top 5? He needs to, because remember, he's come out of Cape Town absolutely on fire. And as he comes across on the Indy Oil Audi, it looks like he's just not able to make up that lost ground.
Yeah, it looks a little off the pace at the moment. That does concern me, but they could have get that all right by the end of today. Of course, we've got a big race coming up later on. It counts double the points, so Fourie's one are going to be in that mix.
Well, here we go into the final lap, and you can see it's still a battle royal at the front end between Audi and Subaru. The two BMs are no team orders here between Van der Linde and Taylor. Taylor trying to keep out Van der Linde as they come into the Midas hairpin. Now down towards the Bridgestone sweep, and it looks like, a little look up the inside, but Taylor just managed to keep the nose ahead. And I think Van der Linde will just have to settle for that 4th place.
All right, so with on the last lap and with 1 quarter to go, this could be a great way for Michael Stephen to start the day.
Nothing wrong. Hometown hero going to be taking the first blood of the day. And there it is, confirmation with the checkered flag coming out. Michael Stephen in the Engine Extreme Audi S4 taking first victory ahead of Henny Grunewald's Sassel Subaru. And then the 3 BMWs coming through for 3, 4, and 5.
So confirmation on the results. Michael Stephen, 10 points in the bag. Henny Grunewald, 2nd. Anthony Taylor, Etienne van der Linde, and Lee Thompson in the Pertec BMW.
In 6th place, Johan Fourie will have to settle for that. Chop Sapuka coming back to 7th. Pinard in the 2nd of the Subarus in 8th.
Great race, start to finish. You look comfortable.
Yeah, you know, as I mentioned earlier, we've done our homework and got off the line well. We chose a rolling start from a strategic point of view. And it worked for us and got the lead and, just maintained it from there. Didn't push too hard and, just saved the tyres for the next race that we're going to now.
So it's time to go for a rolling start for race number 2. And the top 4 cars are going to be inverted after the draw, which means we're going to see the BMWs 1 and 2 front row with Michael Stephen and the Sassel Subaru there of Henny Grunewald on the 2nd row. Watch out for Fourie in this one. I think he's got a lot of ground to make up for as they go along. Look in the rearview mirror how Michael Stephen is going defensive so early on. Who's on his inside there? It could be Lee Thompson, who could be putting the pressure on into Torgosan corner, but he manages to hang on right behind Grunewald in the Subaru.
All right, let's see how he does, as we say, on board with him, the 2 BMWs, and out of that through to the Engine S's. And Fourie will drastically need to improve his performance right now. The team is scratching its head. What is the difference between now and what happened in Cape Town? Well, who knows?
You can see that they've had to work hard here to try and get that car onto pace down in PE compared to the pace they had in Cape Town. But now, heading up into Midas hairpin for the first time, and Michael Stephen's already putting pressure on. We're on the outside here, and Lee Thompson is not holding back. Little rubbings racing there between the 2 of them as they come out of the Midas hairpin. But I think he might have just been helped out a little bit there by Fourie, because I think Fourie gave him a tag from behind too. And there he comes. Yeah, brilliant bit of driving there for young Fourie, and looks like Lee Thompson, well, he's in a fight here. He's used to this because he's been up here a couple of times before, but I think he hasn't realized just how quick these little S4s are now.
Well, I'm getting geographically challenged with turning around in circles in the commentary booth at the moment, and I'm trying to keep my eye on what's going on, all the action. But we can say this, that the BMWs, for the first time since their inception, are leading in Port Elizabeth.
Looking good too, as you can see, Henny Grunewald staying very defensive over Michael Stephen. Race 1 winner, of course, and the hometown hero, trying to go 3 for 3, I'm sure, on the day. But He's got a lot of work to get past the Sassel Subaru Groenewald. He had some trouble earlier on in practice, but after qualifying, it looked like that car had hooked up just as well as Michael Stevens had.
No, I totally agree with you. It really has been hooked up really well. So let's go back to the action as we're on board with Michael Stevens. Still our focus and attention is on the BMWs. Van der Linde and Taylor there. Kenny Groenewald banging more points. He's had a good run in the first one. Michael Stevens will still want to be in the mix and on their way down into the bridge.
Look at that move from Steven as the mistake comes out of the Sassel Subaru. He just sweeps through and says, thank you very much, Kenny Groenewald. I'll take it any way you can give it to me. And he's up to third place now. So that is a phenomenal bit of driving there as he saw a little mistake from Henny Groenewald, the chink in the armor, as they say, and he just took advantage of it. Here comes Chopsapuka on Melville, well done, bud. How did you hang on to that one? Will he hang on? He keeps it buried around the outside. There's not much traction out there on that corner, but he managed to keep those Bridgestone tyres pretty well hooked there. And well done to Melville Priest for brilliant driving.
All right, 4 of 8, still the BMWs out in front here at Aldo Scribante. And Michael Stevens is now coming into the mix right now and putting Taylor under a lot of pressure. Dragging along for the ride is Kenny Groenewald. Unlike him to make that kind of mistake at this particular racetrack.
They head down towards Sogosan corner now, back on board with Michael Stevens, trying to find a way past Anthony Taylor. Taylor doesn't seem to have the same pace as Van der Linde's car, so there might be a problem on that BM. Let's watch for it as they get into the closing stages now of race 2. Michael Stevens putting massive pressure onto the back of that Afrox BMW, and you can see he's just breathing down those Akrapovic pipes. He wants past. He's going to try through the engine S to set it up, and maybe up at the hairpin. He can get great drive out of here through hanger and try something on the brakes.
The BMW 6-cylinder direct injection output at 300 kilowatts, and it looks like it's got all of that and more.
Oh, look at how he has to go wide. Michael Stevens having to go very wide there as Taylor just tried the blocking game coming out of West Bank corner, now into Midas hairpin. Watch for the drive of the Audi. It's got Quattro versus rear-wheel drive there, and the Quattro's going to hang on around the outside of the street. This is brilliant stuff, side by side, wing mirror to wing mirror, and he's got the inside line now for Dunlop. Watch this maneuver. Can he keep it all together? Yes, he can. Groenewald's going to go with him.
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say watch out for that, because I think he's going to get the inside move there, and he does, just as we predicted.
Unbelievable bit of driving there from both of those guys. Anthony Taylor's just being mugged, and here comes Farid. So Taylor's days are not over yet. He's got another Audi on his tail now, and that Audi wants past even more than the one in front here.
Yeah, Farid needs to get some points to the bag. He had an outstanding round in Cape Town. Doesn't seem to be doing what he needs to do today, but nevertheless, back to our leaders. And as we go into lap 7 of 8, the last one, and look now, Farid is putting the pressure on. Does Taylor have a problem here?
Can you believe that? That's deja vu, but that's an Audi around the outside of Taylor through Bridgestone sweep again. But this time it's the Indy Oil Audi, not the Engine Extreme one, and Taylor has to give way yet again. Not a great way to end this one up here for Anthony Taylor. And now he's got a third Audi, and a possibility of it happening to him again.
Well, that BMW has had some problems with throttle calibration difficulties, but hopefully that's not going to rear its ugly head again for them.
On ends it's August Sun. This is the final time these guys are going to be going through here this fast for the second race. The Oland's car looking pretty good, and I've got to say, Melville Priest, a much better drive here in the second one. He had to come through a lot of traffic after a little bit of mayhem in turn 1 of race 1, but now he seems to have got it all sorted out. And all of a sudden, he's in the mix and could possibly spoil the day here for Taylor again and put another Audi in front of the BM.
All right, out of West Bank and on their way to the Midas hairpin. They have to get on hard on the brakes. And those BMW brakes, well, they've got 4-putt calipers there to stop the momentum of these cars. So a lot of M performance parts on these cars, and still in the stage of development for them as well.
Well, the Audi boys are at their home track and looking for Michael Stevens to maybe spoil the day here for Van der Linde, but Etienne Van der Linde, when he's in this kind of position, with this kind of pace, is not going to make it easy for Michael Stevens. He's going to try around the outside. No, he's not. He'll cut the apex and try and drag it to the line. Watch this now. 4-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive for the flag, and they come across the line. The BM is going to hang on. Only just 1/10 of a second between Michael Stevens and Etienne Van der Linde, and Van der Linde takes race 2. In the background, the Subaru winning out over Johan Farid, and he kept it ahead of Anthony Taylor.
Right, let's get confirmation of those points for race number 2. And as it stands, Etienne Van der Linde, good debut win for them at Port Elizabeth. Michael Stevens, Henny Groenewald, Johan Farid, Anthony Taylor.
In 6th place, a great drive from Melville Priest and much improved Chopsapuka in 7th. Thompson, Pinard and Mayer, your top 10.
What a great race win for Etienne Van der Linde. You've got that BMW firing. You must be delighted.
Luck of the draw, I drew pole for the second one and managed to get a good start and just put in a couple of qualifying laps in the beginning, got a nice gap, but then mid-race, slight mistake at the hairpin, overshot a bit, and then that made the field catch up a bit. But after that, I just put my head down and kept it going. Audi caught me drastically at the end, but managed to keep it in first position.
Well, let's hope the day gets better for Henny. Certainly the Subaru's Brains Trust has their thinking caps on. It was not too long to go before our main race, and instead of jangling nerves, there was a sense of calmness and smiles. Melvin needed something, chops, perhaps of Valium. The public got the chance to check the cars out prior to the race, and had lost something extra for their 100 Rand entrance. But as the seconds ticked by, it became apparent that the goal of every driver was taking as many of the double points on offer. Subaru, with a second and third, could bag more. After all, they were on the second row. With Mayer and Pit Amber at the back of the grid, Chops Valium kicking in, Melville on the prowl, with Stephen all thumbs. And Faree's team thinking, could this day get any worse? The last call to clear the track, and the pace car was ready to lead them out. 14 laps of action on its way. But first, let's go one-on-one with Chop Sapuka.
Hi, I'm Chop Sapuka from the Engine Extreme Racing team. The season so far has not been one of the greatest seasons. Obviously, we didn't start where we had anticipated to be. Just taking an outlook on the previous race, which was Killarney in Cape Town, it wasn't really happy hunting ground. I made a mistake of my own on the grid while I was on pole. The car crept out of the box. Out of my own fault, I think I was too eager to leave from pole and lead the race and win. It was deemed as a penalty, as a jump start, so I got a penalty, and that demoted me to 7th. Nevertheless, now we have moved on to Port Elizabeth, where we are based, and we believe this might be quite happy hunting ground for us. We might achieve what we want to achieve here, which is a 1 and 2. There's a lot of competitors who are quite competitive, which is, if you look at Faree is really, really bad news. You've got to watch him all the time. Neville Priest, you've got Anthony Taylor, extremely fast. Sometimes he pulls blinding fast laps. If we look at Michael is also extremely fast, but I don't really deem him don't foresee him as a rival. We are a team, we work together, we just play it as we see it, and I mean, if he's fast, he's fast. If I'm fast, I'm fast. We've had quite a very strong relationship with Engine over the years, me coming in 1998 with the team, the Terry Moss Racing team. And we've also had a very good relationship with Look Clutches. They've been there from the beginning of the team in 1998. And where would we be without the luxury of sleeping in a Tsokosan out through the travels of the season? But great support from them, which is most sincerely and highly appreciated. If we take a view on the current drivers in production cars definitely is world-class racing, because there's a lot of history behind these drivers. They're thoroughbred racing drivers. Some of them have got experiences overseas, including myself, Michael as well. If you look at Anthony Taylor, who comes from the touring car days, you look at Etienne van der Linde, and the list just goes on. I mean, look at Gary Formato, so on and so forth. These are all guys who have been champions, who have done well in the past and are still doing well. So they're quite a good measure for one to measure himself against. And, you know, nobody gives way for the other, but we all race in measure of respect.
Cars to the line for the theme piece race. It's 14 laps of action coming your way. And another gamble being taken by the Engine Extreme team. They've decided to go for a standing start and use the Quattro system to see if they can get off the line ahead of those rear-wheel drive BMWs and, of course, the all-wheel drive Subaru. The best part about this is hearing those engines roar off the line with a standing start. Put them onto the limiters and literally just slide the foot off the clutch and let them go, go, go.
So, Greg, it's been an absolutely fantastic day so far with 2 races gone in our sprint, but the theme piece is the one we've all been waiting for, the double the points. This is going to be the thing. Now, it's a cheeky move from Michael Stephen, isn't it, really? And we've seen how advantageous pulling away from the line can be with those cars.
Listen, as they all wind up now and revving to go. There we go, four-wheel drive getting off the line, and the rear-wheel drive BMW is going to be outgunned by not only Michael Stevens' Audi, but looks like the Sasa Subaru and Johan Ferrari on the inside. Wow, it's getting really tight between the two of them. A little touch. Wow, Taylor and Ferrari coming together down the main straightaway. Hopefully that BMW, well, just missed Ferrari. That was tight. Wow, that was very exciting.
Did he really tap him? Did he get a touch?
A little touch between the two of them down that main straightaway, and Taylor went farming. And looks like Johan Ferrari had to recover there big time. Here we see on board, heading down. And what is happening with, look at Melville Priest. He put it in R for race, not R for reverse, and went backwards. So Melville Priest with a big mistake, but here's the other mistake that happened between these two. Afrox BMW and Johan Ferrari coming together. And the BM just goes sliding on the grass. You've got no control of that car until it gets back on the tar. He catches it on the tar and manages to keep it going. But wow, what a start. Watch the tap here. Here's from Puka's point of view. Taylor just turning across there in front of Ferrari, and the two of them getting tagged, and that's what caused all this action.
Now, we've seen that kind of accident happen before, if you think back a season ago, when Tanith Gardner and the Subaru got tapped on the straightaway, but that ended up a lot worse.
Yeah, very fortunate for those cars to get away with that, but we're back at the front end of the race. Michael Stevens got away, then we've got Henry Kruneval, Chop Sapuka, under pressure from the man who's involved in that little action. And as always with Bridgestone production cars, the action has started right from turn 1.
Right, so let's just collect our thoughts right now and look at who's leading out. As always, Michael Stephen in the pound seats right now. And he's been on the back foot because he's had a DNF, and he's also, his car's caught on fire, so he is now having to chase the points in a big way.
Yeah, he's coming back nicely, though. You can't ask for a better than what he's right now. He's at a first and a second so far. He's in the lead with the Sasa Subaru, not able to run the same kind of pace. It's pretty much there, but remember, it's a 14-lapper, so it is going to be a bit about tyre wear here, especially on this circuit, where tyre wear is so crucial in all the categories on the West Bank Super Series. You've got to make sure that you look after those Bridgestones and see if they'll get you to the finish. That's exactly what Michael is trying to do. Ferrari's not, though. Ferrari is looking for a way past his teammate, and, well, Chop Sapuka is doing a great tail gunner roll here and hanging on to that third place on the road.
So out of the Bridgestone sweep, and it's the final stages of this race, and will Chops finally get a podium position?
He's pushing hard for it, there's no doubt about it. They're in amongst Class T now, and looks like we're going to see some big action as the Class A cars try to make their way through what is now the back markers of this race. But, of course, the leaders in the Class T battle. We won't get into that right now, because look at this. The Sasa Subaru is still in second place and hasn't found an answer yet to Michael Stephen. Even though Michael Stephen's got a battle scar there from one of the Indy Oil GTRs, I think it was Graham Nathan who gave him a little tap heading into the hairpin, trying to make his way through the Class T battle, which we'll see just after the break. But right now, there's no brakes on. It's every man for himself. And look at Sapuka on the inside of Michael van Rooyen, now around the outside. He is pushing hard. There's only 3 corners to go, and he wants that Subaru.
I was wondering to myself whether those back markers would come into play and create a buffer between the leaders, and it seems to be the case. Kruneval in second position all by himself, but now he's got past Michael van Rooyen, and now Chops is like breathing down his neck.
Look at Ferrari, though. Ferrari also wants to get past, and hopefully he's going to get a little favour here from his team or stablemate there in the Indy Oil camp. But, of course, Nathan is battling for his own little battle there. Across the line, though, Michael Stephen is going to take the victory. It's flag to flag for him as well. And Chop Sapuka, with a bit of dust in the background as he ran wide, comes through for third, making it Engine Extreme Audis 1 and 3, Sasa Subaru in second place. And that's going to give the lead to the championship to Henny Kruneval. A brilliant bit of driving, though, from Michael Stevens. Sees him moving up in the championship, up into second place. So he's going to be very happy with that. 2 victories on the day, and more consistency might see him retain that A1 plate.
So confirmation, Michael Stephen, what a great day it is. Henny Kruneval in second, Chop Sapuka third, Johan Ferrari finally getting some points, and Melville Priest in fifth.
Taylor finishes up in 6th place with Frunda Linda right behind him. Lee Thompson, a great drive in 8th. Pinard and Modak, top 10.
A really successful day for you and the team, Michael Stephen. Well done. 2 race wins and a big one. Double the points here. You must be delighted.
Yeah, most definitely. And before I start, I must just thank all the sponsors: Engine, Audi, Terimos Racing, Sogo Sun. Everyone who puts it together. Without them, we can't go racing. And then to the guys behind the scene, the mechanics, Terry himself. Everyone put in a huge effort, not only for this race, but throughout the year and last year. They committed, and they provide me with a race-winning car. So this goes to them. And yeah, you know, a perfect day in front of a home crowd, you know, over the moon.
Didn't go your all way, but Chops, you came back strong as you always do, and you got on the podium at third place in the final race. More importantly, it's double the points.
No, beautifully. I think in the spirit of the 4 rings, it was a good recovery if you take into account what had happened in the earlier races. But nevertheless, you know, the team had worked, I think, very hard now in just trying to get the car with a different setup than what we had in the 2 races, but it turned out well.
It's a confirmation of what we said earlier. I didn't realize it was this close, though. 2 points in it between Groenewald and Steven. Anthony Taylor and Van der Linde, the 2 BMs behind, and Melville Priest up to 5th. Look out for the battle at Swartkops. The 4th round of the Bridgestone production cars happens at Westbank Super Series Swartkops. On the 26th of May, racing starts at 10 o'clock. After the break, Class T action from PE.
So third round coverage, and it is Class T qualifying, and of course your usual protagonists were going to be in the mix. Gennaro Bonafide in the Ferrari GTI 6, starting to make and come to terms with that car. The other one to look out for was the big guy, Graham Nathan, and Jacques Chabert, his stablemate in the Golf 5. And then of course it was the OPC Williams Hunt Opel Astra from Michael van Rooyen, the Rustenburg Rocket.
You got Nathan at the front end, though, and after qualifying, it was Graham Nathan in the Indy Oil GTI out in front, ahead of that Williams Hunt OPC.
Good second row, Jacques Chabert, and then Gennaro Bonafide.
Gary Famoto and Sean Duany down on the 3rd row. Not a good start for them.
And then tying up the back, Ephraim Levy. Once again, the big man, Graham Nathan. Good result.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great job on my team. A nice result for VW at home, so let's see if we can keep it there or try and get it closer to a win. It's been a while since my 6 has won, and it's time for it now.
Second quickest to put it on front row, Michael van Rooyen, been plagued by tremendously bad luck all season. Carl's looking good. You must be happy.
Yeah, extremely happy. It's great being here for a positive thing, for a change. The car was absolutely great. Grant did a terrific job on the car over the weekend. And the car's just immaculate at the moment. And in the hometown of Opel and all the fans here, we're hoping for a very good result.
It's Williams Hunt OPC and 2 GTIs. That's what they're looking at, the front rows. And of course the 2 Fords, not quite on the pace yet, but they've got race pace now. And let's see if they can run with the GTIs and that Opel at the front. On board with Germany as we head to Torgosan. He goes very wide. He's probably going to cut the apex very late and see if he can sneak in behind his teammate Gary Famoto and outgun Bonafide.
Here at Aldo Scribante, it's like the Motor City or the equivalent to Detroit in the States, where all the manufacturers are here in PE.
That's for sure, especially Volkswagen and Opel. This is how hard they're going to be pushing. And you can see already Chabert sneaking ahead. Where did he find that pace in the Golf 5 GTI? Brilliant bit of stuff. It's Indy Oil GTIs 1 and 2 as they head through Westbank. Oh, Nathan looks in his rearview mirror and sees his teammate. That is going to be music to his ears.
Yeah, the Golf 6 and the Golf 5. Man, he is certainly, as a rookie, pedaling that car. It is a championship car. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because there's a lot of laps still to go in this race.
On board with Bonafide now on the back end of Famoto. Famoto finding something special out of Westbank and getting ahead of the Ferrari GTR 6. See if he's able to keep it there now because we know that Gennaro has sorted his problems out in that GTI. And he now has to go and battle with Famoto, who's just behind the Williams Hunt OPC of Michael van Rooyen. What a recovery here from van Rooyen. Remember what a dismal season he's had so far. Really hasn't even raced in anger yet. This is the first time we've seen him out there.
Do I? I mean, he's the first one to tap me on the shoulder and go, you know, Steve, I can't believe the bad luck we've been having. Talking about tapping, Gennaro Bonafide rubbing his hands up in the air going, hey, go on the outside, touch me if you can.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit worried about Germany coming through there. They've had their fair share. And oh, it actually wasn't Germany. It was Melville Priest. Apologies, Sean. I will take that back completely. It was Melville Priest coming through after that first lap incident in the Class A's. And he now comes side by side with Famoto. Famoto will probably just let him go through. He's got the additional power. He's not going to get involved in the phrase here. But while speaking of getting involved in the phrase, Patamba nearly got a Golf GTI badge right up the exhaust pipe of that BMW.
I totally agree. I mean, that was always going to be the problem sometimes in this racing. The back markers in Class A, way, do get entangled with Class T because they're running so quickly. So through the Bridgestone sweep it is, and Graham Nathan leading out in the Golf 6. And we've got a faster Class A car. It is Melville Priest trying to go on the outside and get past all of this carnage.
He's got past the OPC, the Williams Hunt man, in third place on the road. But now, with Class A cars in the mix too, it's going to be a tough ask there for Michael van Rooyen to try and catch up on Jibba. And Jacques Joubert, what a start to the day's racing for him. This is the way we like to see it. In the background, Sean Duminy trying to just maintain a little bit of pace and stay with Bonafide. The Class A cars are all gone now. And it's now back to the Class T's at the halfway mark.
All right, 4 of 8 gone, and on their way up, they will be heading towards the very tight to Midas hairpin. The one thing that is quite strange for me today, and it hasn't been a great weekend for the Ford ST Focus, not for Formato or Duminy.
And as you say that, he gets it wrong again.
Yeah, can you put your finger on it, Greg?
No, I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong there, but unfortunately the Ford's just not on the same kind of pace as we saw down in Cape Town. But we know they'll sort it out by the time we get up into the Highveld and to Swartkops. Bonafide can see that Formato's under pressure, and he's putting him under more. He wants to sneak through here, maybe up into Dunlop corner, and not able to do it as Formato goes on the defensive. So the two ST Focuses just sandwiching the Ferrodo GTI, and I think he's probably going to be feeling a little bit frustrated right now.
Who, Bonafide or Formato?
Both of them, I think. They come across the line, and you can see Germany, well, he wants to just try and bridge that gap, but it's not able to. Speaking of bridging gaps, though, Jacques Joubert looks in his rearview mirrors, and all he sees is William Hunt, OPC.
Yeah, but wow, I mean, he's doing a sterling job, and he's making this championship car, or an ex-championship car. He really is going around this race course really quickly. Well done, Jacques Joubert.
Not like Gary Formato is, unfortunately. He's now just fallen to the right-hand side and going to circulate to try and get that car home. There are only a couple of cars out there in Class T, so he's still got a chance of scoring some points if he can nurse the car home. And you can see he's now, there's definitely a problem on that car. I'm just trying to listen to it. Listen to it, just sounds terrible.
It sounds like a choking car. It can't breathe, that's the problem.
Just battling with the boost there, I think. So let's see if they can get that sorted out for race number 2. But remember, with race 2, they've only got a couple of minutes on the pre-race on the grid to sort that out. I don't know if they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have enough time. They're allowed 5 minutes, 2 mechanics over the wall. I mean, you can't do something of that nature. It's a pretty serious thing. Anyway, let's go back to the action right now. And still Michael van Rooyen looking good for the points for a change.
Yeah, formation flying, though, for the Indy Oil boys. They're out front, 1 and 2. Nathan where he wants to be. And Jacques Joubert, his best finish so far, if he can keep it all together for another 5 corners. Michael van Rooyen, welcome back to the front end of Class T, buddy. Good to have you here again. And I know the Williams Hunt boys are going to be happy about this.
Oh, yeah, and then some. So, great action. And that problem, we've seen that often. That ABS, the lights coming on from Graham Nathan's Golf 6, an inherent problem. They never seem to sort it out.
No, it doesn't seem to be hindering him this time, though, that's for sure. Michael van Rooyen and Jacques Joubert going around the outside of Levy in the Jive GTI. He's unfortunately going to be falling right out of it. Ibrahim Levy, I don't even know if he's going to finish up here because that car didn't sound good either. See, GTIs 1, 2, and 4 on the road, and the checkered flag is waiting.
All you got to do is, Jacques, is just follow Uncle Nathan around.
That's exactly what he's done. He's done a great job. GTI 6 wins out, GTI 5 in second. Williams Hunt, Opel, OPC, Astra in third. And the Ferrodo GTI 6 of Bonafide comes through for 4th. Just ahead of the first of the 4s.
And he's not going to be happy about that, is he? Gennaro Bonafide. It ain't happening for him today. Let's get confirmation on the results for this first race in Class T. Well, it goes without saying what an outstanding result. And Nathan is back, large and in charge. These are the confirmation of those results. And here it comes. Graham Nathan winning it outright. Jacques Joubert, Michael van Rooyen, Gennaro Bonafide, and Sean Duminy. The big guy does it once again. You put it on pole position. You looked like you were really in control the whole race.
Absolutely, the car went beautifully. Steve and Dean and everybody involved in my racing team did a superb job this weekend. Peter, Trevor, I just can't say thank you enough. We're out there trying as hard as we can to claw back some of the points that Gary took away from us at the beginning of the year when we had a bit of a problem with the tyre. And we just hard on it as hard as we can. It's great for the publicity for Volkswagen at their home circuit. So we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep pushing. The reverse grid now is going to be a little bit more difficult. We've got Michael ahead of us and 2 other Golfs, which is great for Volkswagen. We're out there doing a superb job right now for them, and it's just a great product.
A rolling start, and 4 cars going to be inverted. That's going to mean Bonafide on pole. But as they come across the line here, it's Michael van Rooyen who's on pole. So something's gone wrong on the grid there. They're starting the race. It's 8 laps of action, and it's Williams Hunt, OPC out in front. Here we go.
All the way down to the first corner to Sogo-san, and who'll get on the brakes hardest? On the outside, Nathan. 4 cars. There's an element of luck there in this one because it brings all the former leaders of the last race back into the mix.
Yeah, they're all at the front end now, so this should be fun and games heading into Sogo-san corner. See Bonafide in second place. He's going to be a bit concerned about what happened there, but they'll sort it out afterwards, I'm sure. Jabir following Uncle Nathan round.
Yeah.
I think he's taken your advice and said, no, you follow me, Graham.
The youngster shooting from the hip.
That's exactly what it's all about. Graham Nathan will love that, though. There's no doubt about it. Bonafide trying to get past, and early on with the OPC out in front. We know that Michael van Rooyen is very hungry for a victory. And if he can get to the front and see some in-house fighting behind him between the GTIs, it might give him a chance to get away.
Yeah, it looks like Michael van Rooyen a bit oversteered there on that car. All around the outside, that's Coach Jack. But he's got no fear, this youngster.
Yeah, he just went wide there, unfortunately, and Graham Nathan showed him the way around. Midas hairpin. Now through Bridgestone sweep, it's the GTI 6 that leads out. And the youngster, we'll probably give him the nickname of the Stiglet, because he's got that Stig helmet, but he's not quite the Stig yet.
I love the way you said that, Stiglet.
Into the big right-hander at Dunlop, and now to complete lap number 1, it's the Opel out in front of 3 GTIs. Sean Duminy, the lone Ford out there, because Famato wasn't able to sort out that car and get back on the grid.
Yeah, probably strangled it to death.
So now they come down the Torgelson corner. Look at how hard the braking is there from Graham Nathan, trying to close onto the back end of the Ferrodo GTI. Bonafide is not going to be as easy as Jacques Jabir. Not that Jacques Jabir was easy at all for Graham Nathan, but we know that Gennaro Bonafide will not allow Graham Nathan the same amount of room as Jacques Jabir did.
Yeah, well, if Michael van Rooyen's out there at the moment, of course, our third race is always about the fast. Oh, on the outside, there's a problem here for Jacques. Or is that Nathan?
No, that's Jacques Jabir slowing down, unfortunately. Looks like there's a problem on that Golf GTI 5. Wow, look at the GTI 6 sideways. Oh, was that Kusi Veyers behind the wheel there? No, that's Graham Nathan. And he's got that Golf lit up out of Westbank.
And he can drive. I've seen that car almost like plow into walls, and he's managed to just keep it on the tarmac. I don't know how he does it. It's called skill. He wouldn't have it any other way, though, would he?
Drifting in a front-wheel drive, yeah, there's only a couple of guys that can do that, and Nathan's one of them.
Yep.
Here we go, on the brakes, and into Dunlop. He's got the inside. Bonafide's giving him a little bit of room, and it's just enough to get that GTI 6 ahead. So the Ferrodo car losing out of Dunlop, and now Graham Nathan goes hunting for a Williams Hunt product out front there. And in the rearview mirrors, Michael van Rooyen looks back and goes, oh no, it's orange.
Bonafide, the king of third position on the podiums, and he really does have a phenomenal record in that position. He'll tell you he would love to come second or first, but he's trying his damnedest right now to make that happen. Oh, look at it, 3rd of 8, and Van Rooyen's on the inside. He's got the better line over Nathan. You can't get round on the outside there, Nathan. And it is Michael van Rooyen, but he'll come back, and as he does, oh, what fantastic drive. It's a dice all the way down the main straight to the first corner to Sogasan. Who'll get on the brakes, and who's going to outdo who here?
Yeah, who's the bravest on the brakes? I think Van Rooyen's got the line, though. Nathan might just back out of this one, although he hasn't backed out yet. He's going to try drive around the outside. It's Sogasan. He's done it! Oh, you said he couldn't drive around the outside. That's how you drive around the outside. He couldn't get it done in Dunlop, but Michael van Rooyen had no answer in Sogasan. They're now in the engine S's. And hello, it's Nathan at the front again.
So our TV viewers, you don't know how impressive that move was.
Yeah, very awesome stuff. Unbelievable, as Nathan would say himself, as they head into Westbank once again, out of hanger, up towards Midas hairpin. Now you can see they're coming onto the back end of the Class A cars. We're getting into the final lap, and there is nothing in it between these guys. They've come across the line. Look at how, oh, that's brilliant stuff. Graham Nathan just putting him another car between himself and Michael van Rooyen. Just a bit of a buffer for this final lap.
All right, so if John Mayer of Class A is in there, and you've got Pitt Amber, those are the back markers in Class A. That's not what Nathan needs at this stage. And he's also got another one that he's just a bit of pressure is Modak in the other A4 in Class A. Anyway, let's get through it on the way up through the Westbank, and then be driving through to the Midas hairpin.
Hard braking there, and he's put the buffer between Michael van Rooyen and himself. And I think Michael van Rooyen, just listening to that car, he might just be nursing that home too. In the background, Gennaro Bonafide hasn't seen there's a little bit of blood in the water. It's a light blue color. But Michael van Rooyen, he's just trying to get to the finish line and make sure that that OPC finishes up in second place.
Points, and points is what he needs right now to get this championship back on track.
He's done a superb job so far in the first 2 races. Recovery mode here from Michael van Rooyen in the Williams Hunt car. But it's Graham Nathan who's going to make it 2 out of 2. What a way to start the day. And this is the way that he wants to be ending off the day as well. If he can get another one in the bag, heading to Swartkops, he's going to be a very difficult man to beat.
A clean sweep for Nathan, you mean?
So far, so good. Let's see if he can do it in the theme piece. They've come across the line now, and confirmation of the results is Graham Nathan in the Indy Oil GTI 6, taking the victory ahead of the very hard-charging Michael van Rooyen in the Williams Hunt OPC Astra. A brilliant bit of driving there from Sean Duminy, also to recover and put the Ford a little bit higher up than what it has been all day.
So confirmation of those results, and we have Graham Nathan that leads out. As you can see, there was a problem with the pole, so Gennaro Bonafide is reinstated to second, Michael van Rooyen third. Once again, an outstanding result and just bagging in the points.
Thank you very much. No, I hope there isn't any stopping this car, this driver. My team has done a great job. The car suits me 100%. The Golf GTI just keeps pumping out performance. It's just a brilliant motor car. And yeah, this is for the crowd. This is for VWSA down here at Aldo Scribante in Port Elizabeth. Yes to you guys, and thank you very much.
It's a much better start than what's happened the last 2 rounds.
No, for sure. I mean, we started in 4th in the first race, ended up in a good 4th, so reversed the grid. There was a bit of an issue with the start. I was supposed to start on pole, but the COC and whatever told the guys Michael to start there, so whatever. We went out there. Ferrotto car handled well. It's good for the longer race. And then the gearbox broke. We had a gearbox issue in the second race halfway through. That's why all of a sudden I was nowhere.
You may feel at times he's nowhere, but we know the potential of Bonafide, the team and the car. The youngster Jobert hoping for wings. Gary and Sean doing the best with what they had. Mrs. van Rooyen and Mr. knowing there's work to do. Our pit lane man Gary and Nathan up to no good. The rookie and the master, a lighter moment, with Bonafide pensive and thirsty for points. So as the drivers, teams, mechanics and public mingle, reflection was the order of the day. There was even a sense of camaraderie and respect, and a dose of optimism. As the minutes ticked by and the start pending, it did not matter who you supported. Aldo Scribante and the fans would be the ultimate winner. But before we go racing, let's go one-on-one with Michael van Rooyen.
I'm Michael van Rooyen from the Williams Hunt Opel Racing team. We've had a horrible season thus far, which was terribly disappointing given that all the effort and all the hours that everyone has put into the racing team. Literally everything has gone wrong that could have. But we are very positive for this weekend. A lot of preparation going into the car, and looking forward to the racing, which should be close, and hopefully we can be up there. There's some top drivers in the production car series, only to mention Graham Nathan, which is a very tough rival, never gives up. Always will chase you down when you're in front of him. Gary Formato, another top-class driver, very fast, always on the pace, and very tough to pass as well. And Gennaro Bonafide as well, who's been very good this year thus far. Also didn't finish a couple of races, but I think he'll be good and strong again this weekend, and also a competitor. And then you've got Sean Duminy, Jacques Joubert, the newcomer. Sean, incredibly difficult to pass, always on the lookout for his partner. And that makes for extremely close racing, especially with the reverse grid format that we have. And I'm sure it's going to be very exciting this weekend. Williams Hunt, which have been our main sponsor throughout last year and this year, have been incredible this year thus far, helping us at Swartkops immensely. And then in Cape Town, when we had all our teething problems, came to the party and assisted us in every way they could have. And they're also always backing us, no matter what happens, and that's incredible to have in a sponsor. Together with Williams Hunt, we're also developing a new car for later this season, which we are looking forward to. This is Bridgestone Production Cars, world-class racing at its best.
We add 6 laps to the action now and double the points up for grabs for the Class T boys. I think we're going to be in for a humdinger here in race 3.
Nice to know you can still count.
All fired up and ready to rock and roll now. It's going to be a standing start, and hopefully no one's going to be doing some reversing like we saw from Melville Priest. These Class D boys all want to get to Torgelson first and see if they can maintain the lead for 14 laps.
Standing start. Tension mounting. This is where they're going to do the business.
Nathan with a good start. The OPC gets alongside him. Watch for Gary Formato trying to make up lost ground in the background too. They managed to sort that car out. Now it's on board here with Sean Duminy. Behind Bonafide, And as they head in there, Nathan has been outdone by the OPC as they go into Torgosan. But hard braking on the inside allows Germany to sneak through. And Bonafide gets a little bit squirrely going into Torgosan corner.
So maybe that handshake in the beginning was about, let me just shake your hand now before I bump you.
Yeah, apologies at the front end of the race. And Germany gets it sideways in the S's. And I think Bonafide has to come out of that one big time. Now they've lost a bit of ground to the OPC and the GTR, who go side by side out of West Bank. And Graham Nathan once again around the outside of West Bank corner this time and takes the lead again on the outside of a corner.
6 cars in this field, which means they're all guaranteed double the points here, but you want to be at the top end of this field to actually get the maximum. Bonafide, we're on board with him right now on the way up to Dunlop corner, a nice part of the circuit. And of course, they'll have to keep it all nice and tidy.
Runs a little bit wide coming out of Bridgestone sweep, and hard on the brakes is Gary Vermaat, who actually got ahead of Jacques Joubert coming out of the hairpin. So Jibber with a bit of work to do now to see if he can make up the ground. As they come right onto the tailpiece, there's 3 cars. They split by absolutely nothing. Look at how hard Gary Vermaat is trying to get past the Ferrodo GTI of Gennaro Bonafide. He pulls onto the outside. Bonafide's just going to hold that inside line, or is he? Because look at that, around the outside, and Bonafide, that gearbox problem is still there. And even though the Ford is not breathing right, he's still going a lot better than the Ferrodo GTI is heading into the S's.
It's not often you see too many in front of Vermaat in any race for that matter, but there are certainly problems, and it would appear that Sean Dumini's car is performing just a little bit better. On the way out of West Bank at that right-hander, and then of course down to the hard braking area. Nathan's got that covered, as he always does.
No problems there for the OPC in second place. The Williams Huntman flying the flag high there at the home ground. Of course, not only of Volkswagen, but of Opel. And Germany runs a bit wide. He's putting his own pressure onto himself. Never mind feeling the pressure from behind with 3 cars on his exhaust pipes. One of them is his teammate, and he might just give a little bit inch now. No, he's not. He's going to hang on to 3rd for now.
It's been a very bizarre race this weekend for these Fords because they haven't been at their optimum, and it would appear that the advantage this far in this race is going Graham Nathan's way.
Stigler at the back there trying to find a way through and pushing hard on Bonafide. Now hard braking from Michael van Rooyen into Torgosan. Closes on the GTI. Doesn't have an answer just yet, but maybe he's just holding on for now and letting Graham Nathan set the pace.
Nice little name you've got going there for Jacques Joubert at the moment. I think that might just stick.
Hopefully it does. Into the engine S's though, and Sean Germany is, well, he's under massive pressure. He's got his teammate right behind him. Gary Vermaat, as we've seen all day, just not having a good one here in PE. He'll make up lots of ground by the time we get to Swartkops, because remember, at Swartkops, you won't only be battling with these 6 cars. There's 2 minis coming into play, and the possibility of the Renault Megane for the Big Boss Auto Team too. So we could have a possibility of another 4 cars joining here, with the guys that are off, of course, here today. So 10 cars on the grid for Swartkops.
It's going to be fantastic. 4 of 14 right now, and of course a lot of those cars are going to be going through development phase as well. So we're not going to be expecting a lot out of them, and it's not like they're coming just to make up the numbers. They're here to come and race. So we're looking forward to Swartkops. I think it's going to be a cracker.
It's going to be a great one. Hard on the brakes, and well, you can see the Midas National Race Day here in PE has given the crowds lots of action, especially here in Class 2 of Bridgestone production cars. They come out of Bridgestone sweep. Gennaro just sitting comfortably and trying to do the best he can with the limited gearbox that he's got. But he knows the 2 Fords have got their own problems, so if something goes wrong between the 2 of them, he'll be there and probably be able to sneak through, as we see Vermaat doing that. And Bonafide got a little bit sideways. That was because he put a wheel on the inside curb, but he manages to get through, and Germany's lost 2 positions in 1 corner.
I'll tell you one thing, there's nothing wrong with his reflexes, that's for sure.
He just gives a little hand up saying, thanks for the room there, Sean. That's a good bit of driving from the 2 of them. I think they both realised that discretion would probably be the better part of valour. But now into Torgosan, discretion is thrown out the window.
Yeah, along with that handshake.
Exactly. And Joubert, well, he's right there now in the GTR 5, the Indy Oil team. What an amazing day for them. Being at the front end of the field, he's now at the back and fighting hard for the final podium spot there. Because if anything goes wrong with those top 3 cars ahead of him, and he knows they've got ailing problems, he could sneak up and steal the podium.
All right, Bonafide still with a couple of more laps in this race to go, and he can still bide his time right now. I know we got problems there. Looks like Gary Vermaat, a big lock up there, was it? Or do you think it was oil?
Yeah, it was definitely locking that wheel up into Midas. So Bridgestone smoke out of the side of the car there. It has given him a little bit of an advantage. That late braking just gave him a bit of a gap, but Bonafide now, he's seen that Gary Vermaat is getting away. Graham Nathan comes out of Dunlop.
Oh, problems.
Oh, he's slowing down. Nathan's slowing. And OPC flying past, so Michael van Rooyen all of a sudden has found some pace, and Graham Nathan, I hope that car hasn't gone into limp mode again.
Yeah, we've seen that before, haven't we? Time and time again.
You have to try and drive around it and keep out the Ford, keep out the other two GTIs, and of course the second Ford of Germany. And it looks like whatever it was, he seems to have got it sorted out, because he's now right back with Van Rooyen.
So it could be that intermittent problem that you were talking about. But I'll tell you what, the advantage now sits with the OPC Opel Astra. Van Rooyen leading out. Nathan's back on the charge. He's got all his power back, and he'll come back at Michael Van Rooyen. There's no doubt about it. Or will that power slap again?
Let's see if he's able to do it. They got some Class A cars coming up on them. Remember, we saw that video earlier on in the Class A action. The Class A cars starting to close onto the back end of the leaders of Class T. And maybe this is where we're going to see Graham Nathan use a bit of wily character that he is, and use the Class A boys as a buffer to get past the OPC.
Blue flags flying all over this race course, and why wouldn't they be? We've got Class A thundering down on Class T.
Now, there's lights ablaze there, so I think here we go. They come out of the S's into hangar, and it's OPC GTI with the Audi trying to go around the outside. Michael Stephen in the Audi, of course. He comes through, and he's got Nathan on his tail. Now watch Graham Nathan. He's going to try and go here with Michael Stephen. He comes up the inside, and here we go into the hairpin. Oh, a little tap there from Nathan on the Audi. He tried to use the Audi to go through on Michael van Rooyen. It nearly worked, Graham. It's not a bad effort there, but look, battle scars now on Michael Stevens' car.
Yeah, who hit it? Was it Michael van Rooyen or was it Nathan?
Nathan going up the back end and just giving Michael Steven a little tap saying, come on, help me out here. Let me get past this Opel. So we're in a very similar stable. It's Audi and Volkswagen, of course, together. And Michael van Rooyen says, I don't worry about that. I'm on my home track too. And Opel is going to win this one. Watch this. So blue flags waving as they start the final lap. Henny Groenewald comes wide and past the leaders of Class T. It's Michael van Rooyen now with a little bit of a buffer over Graham Nathan, because that's Chop Sapuka, who just slots in between those two Class T cars.
Very difficult for those Class T cars because you want to get out of the way of the faster approaching Class A cars, but then again also the danger that another Class T car is shadowing the other faster Class A car and then going for that little gap. Michael van Rooyen was a wily character there. He wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, he saw that coming, I think, and he just kept the door firmly shut. Now they come up to Westbank for the final time. He's behind the Sassel Subaru. There goes Chop Sapuka around his outside. Now he's going to use Chops for a bit of a tow down this little short straight into the Midas hairpin. He goes defensive on the inside. He's not going to let Nathan through. And this should end up exactly as we are right now on track.
I always wondered whether that's a first gear or a second gear corner.
So now they come out of Bridgestone Sweep for the final time. And Michael van Rooyen in the Williams Hunt OPC Astra is going to keep Graham Nathan at bay, or is he? Nathan's only got one more chance to do it. It's here at Dunlop. He's not close enough. And he's got his stablemate in the Audi behind him, Johan Fourie. He'll probably give a little bit of a gap there. No, Fourie gives him some gap and realizes he's not going to catch the two Audis out in front there.
Van Rooyen.
And Van Rooyen takes the victory. Nathan in second place, a great drive from him. And in third place, a superb effort from Gennaro Bonafide. From Otto and Germany, the Fords 4 and 5.
I'll tell you what, Michael, you might have been away for a couple of rounds, but you're now back.
Definitely, Steve. You predicted it. I needed this to be back in the championship, and we did it. You can see by the face it was hard work. It wasn't easy, but the car was fantastic up to the last lap, and it wasn't without pressure. Graham was there the whole time, and but we had a clean dice, and it was a lot of fun. And so glad to come away with a win.
Great to see the Opel back in the hunt, and looking forward to what he's going to do at Swartkops. Graham Nathan taking the lead in the championship for the first time this season over Formato, and Germany in third.
So let's have a look at the manufacturers as they stand right now. Of course, it's Volkswagen out, streets ahead, 236, Audi, BMW, Ford, Subaru, Opel, and then the Mini.
For more information on the Westbank Super Series, log on to their website, westbanksuperseries.co.za, and tag Facebook and Twitter.
That's a wrap of the Bridgestone production cars, as well as conclusion to the Aldo Scribante round of the Westbank Super Series here in Port Elizabeth. Next round is in Swartkops. See you soon.